Right, this video I have thought about making a number of times and then I decided not to because it's so personal to me and it has impacted my life in so many ways, and I don't know if people will understand it, but I thought if someone had told me about it, maybe I would have dealt with things differently, and therefore I thought I should make a video to share my experience and my views with other people. Maybe it will help someone. So what is EQ? Just like IQ, which is intelligence quotient, EQ is emotional quotient. EQ, all of us have EQ. It's just like IQ. Some people have it higher, some have lower. EQ is our ability to read people's body language, hear things from the tone rather than the words, and figure out what the person is actually thinking and saying and what's the difference between it. So as I was growing up as a child, I had a lot of struggle with my family, friends, and a vast majority of it was they would say something, but I could sense that they actually meant something else. I could sense a lot of fakeness, a lot of lies and deceit from friends, family, teachers even, and it wasn't malicious. I think a lot of this was parents want to hide stuff from you because they don't want the kids to stress out. And for me, whenever my parents lied to me, I knew, but I couldn't do anything. Then I grew older, went to school, I heard my teachers saying stuff and my fellow students, and there was always something that bothered me because if I'd called someone out on the fact that they were lying, obviously they denied it, and they disliked me for the fact that I could see through them. So gradually I realized that it's better not to tell people that I can see through their lies and I can read the body language. But I didn't really know what it was until much later in life when I was in this board meeting with my boss at a very large company, and some of the board members and the chief operating officer and the CEO was saying stuff. I was just quiet because I was senior management, but I wasn't at that level to interrupt. But I could see people were bullshitting and people were making up stuff because their body language was saying. And I came out and my boss at the time said, "Ethan, can you come and talk to me?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And he said, "I was watching you in there, and can you tell me what you thought of this meeting?" And I said, "I don't know what to say because a lot of it was just bullshit and hot air and people were lying." And he said, "Give me specifics. Who was lying and who was saying what?" And I said, "I don't really think it's my place." And he said, "No, this is between these four walls. I'm going to help you with this." And I said, "Okay." So I told him what I thought. He was a very nice guy. And he said, "Yes. And I can see all of the same thing, but I could also read you. You have a very high EQ and you're an empath." And I was like, "What the hell is an empath?" I assume that's the word. I can't remember what he used. And he said it's people who can read other people. And he said, "I have the same skill and I was born with it and I learned how to harness it. And this is very useful for you if you can utilize it." So the reason I'm telling you all of this is because if you have those abilities, you know, when someone talks about your gut feel, that your gut says this is what it should be, that's your EQ. Our stomach doesn't tell us anything, or nor the intestines. Our emotional quotient, we read people, we read the circumstances, we read the body language, the tone, the breath, the twitches of the eye, the movements of the forehead, the eyebrows, the movement of the hair. Everything is a telltale sign. And I think that's how poker players perhaps do this, where they read each other's body language. I've never played poker, I've only seen it on TV, but I assume they use the EQ. So if you have the ability and if you have that gut feel, go with your gut instinct, because that is much more powerful than the words you're hearing. because people will tell you the words they think they want you to hear. But the other things that they're not telling you, you can read through that. Unfortunately for me, it made my life not very happy, because I wish I didn't have that, because I would have been happier. Ignorance is bliss, as they say. And so many times I've had relationships where I knew that my partner wasn't telling me the full truth. It wasn't, again, malicious. It wasn't anything bad. It was just like, there are things that I just want someone to tell me. For example, if I go on a date and the other person says, I don't know, I'm not ready for a relationship, or I'm just looking for friends, or something like that, I instantly know what is going on through that person's head. I prefer someone tells me, Ethan, you're not really my type. I don't fancy you. Let's just be friends. I would be fine with it, and I would really respect that person, be happy with it. Or if I went for an interview and they said, look, you lack these skills. This is exactly what we're looking for, but you don't meet that criteria. I would be fine with it. But they say, oh, our circumstances have changed, or we have found a more appropriate person, or you're overqualified, or things like that. Or you ring your friend and you say, oh, let's hang out tonight. And they say, oh, I'm really tired and I can't do it. And you know from the tone of the voice that they're lying. They just don't want to hang out with you tonight. And I'd rather they tell me, look, Ethan, I would love to another time, don't feel like it today, don't want to hang out. Then I would be fine. This politeness and this political correctness, I don't think it's political correctness, but this politeness in our society is okay for the normal people, but people with high emotional quotient, it is a disaster. So I have struggled throughout my life with close relationships, work relationships, and all these things, because people tell white lies all the time. And when you know all those white lies, it kind of ruins your life. So yeah, I thought I should share this with you in case some people are going through this and they don't know what's happening to them and why this is impacting them. But it's just very, very simple. It's a blessing and a curse. I'm a walking lie detector, and it's not a good thing. I'd rather wish that I couldn't tell when people were lying to me, because then I'd be happier. So thanks for watching, and more videos to come.